What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be doing the top 10 best roller coasters in Texas. Now, while some of your rides probably won't be on here, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not trashing any of the rides that don't list on here. And I have not ridden Switchback or Boardwalk Bullet, which is why they're not on the list. If I had ridden them, then I more than likely would have put them on the list. But hey, if you're new here and you like the content, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. Also, if you really want to help support the channel and help support me, go ahead and smash that like button and leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. What are you guys' favorite roller coasters? If it made a list, tell me why it's your favorite. And without any further ado, let's get into number 10. Coming in at the number 10 spot is the Joker. Joker is located at Six Flags Over Texas, or at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It is called Batman the Ride. It is an SNS free spin. Stands at 120 feet tall, about 38 miles per hour. The GP really enjoys this roller coaster because of all the spin factors going up to the ride, and the initial launch after the lift hill, so to speak, is kind of a little spin. You don't really spin all that much, but I thought I would mention it here. It's usually, sometimes I can get a really good ride on this, but really not a whole lot, which is why it's at number 10. Coming in at the number 9 spot is Lovabora. Lovabora is located at Six Flags Over Texas. Originally came from Six Flags Magic Mountain in California. It's manufactured by Intamin, and it has a total height of 60 feet tall, reaching top speeds of 32 miles per hour. The best factor about this ride that I like the most is the fact that there's really no track on this ride. So you're kind of just doing your own thing, and sometimes you might feel like you're just going to swerve up out of there, but that's the whole excitement part about the ride. The thing that I dislike the most about this ride is all the trim brake stops. There's like 3 or 4 different stops, and all of them are trim brakes before you go down to the next section, like this one right here. It's a downside of the ride, and I think they implemented it for safety reasons. But like I said, the ride doesn't go with 30 miles per hour, so it's really not a thrilling, exciting ride, but it's definitely fun enough that the first time I rode it, I had a blast, and it's definitely great with small children and family rides. So this is definitely something, if you have a family that you want to do something together that's not like really crazy, or like New Texas Giant or something, I feel like this would be really great for families. Coming in at the number 8 spot is Titan, the only hypercoaster in the state of Texas, which stands at a total height of 255 feet with a drop of 245 foot. It goes reaching top speeds of 85 miles per hour with a 65-degree first drop. This ride it's not nothing crazy special about this ride. This part right here, the double helix, is probably the most intense part of the ride. For a lot of new riders, some of them tend to gray out on this spot. And then a big no-go for me was this mid-course brake run right here, where it just really seems to destroy all positive momentum that you had for the ride, because it just completely, you come to almost a complete stop. So that's why this ride is so far down on the list. It's a fun ride, and it's great if you're into thrills and you're an enthusiast into making, you want to ride something cool. It's got a lot of good elements, but this ride elements focuses basically on helixes. So that's why it's coming in at number 8. Coming in at the number 7 spot is Batman the Ride. Now in Texas, there are 3 different clones of this ride. The original Batman the Ride is at Six Flags Over Texas. At Six Flags Fiesta Texas, the background footage you can see is called Goliath. And at SeaWorld in San Antonio, it is called the Great White. All 3 rides are pretty much the same ride. They're manufactured by B&M. With about a height of about 100 feet tall, with a drop of 84.5 feet, 5 inversions, and 2,700 feet of track. This thing gets up to top speeds of about 50 miles per hour. This is actually a really fun ride. It's an SLC, so you're kind of suspended. The restraints aren't really too bad about this ride, but if you're riding a full train on a good day and you really want, this thing to haul, man, just ride this thing in the back. And if like I said, if you got a full train and it's running good, this thing's going to haul. It's going to give you a really, really great ride. If you don't like back seat rides, riding in the front is, just as good. You're going to get a good amount of speed here. But I found that riding this in the back is just the most fun for me because it feels like it's going a lot faster than what it normally would riding in the middle or the front. I really, really love the zero G rolls on this ride. It's always, this ride is always fun. No matter how bad or good I'm feeling, I can ride this ride and I can always have fun with it. It's not like an intense ride, but it is a lot of fun. So definitely a must try, and definitely check this ride out. Coming in at the number 6 spot is Superman Krypton Coaster, which is located at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas in San Antonio, Texas. It's manufactured by B&M. It is the world's tallest floorless coaster, succeeded by Dominator. It's a chain lift hill with a total height of 168 feet with a 163 foot drop, reaching top speeds of 70 miles per hour with 6 inversions. This ride is one ride that we always tend to binge ride when we go to Fiesta, Texas. Every time me and my girlfriend, we go up here, we go to Fiesta, Texas, and the first thing we do is like, hey, let's go ride Superman. Unless we haven't been in a while, and then it's like Iron Rattler or Wonder Woman. But that's neither here nor there. But this ride, we ride this thing maybe 4, maybe even 5 times in a day because this thing is just so much fun. I love the elements of how the first drop is off the quarry wall, and you've got this ginormous hang time on the first loop, the first vertical loop. It's an amazing first drop, and then it uses the elements of the quarry quite a bit, and it uses them really, really good because you get it gives you a really good view of the park while you're up on the quarry wall. The elements, the corkscrews during the cobra rolls and stuff like that. It has a lot of good elements, and it's a really long ride. This ride's about a good 3.5 minute ride. So I love this ride, and this ride came out a long time ago. I think it's in 2000. So definitely check this ride out. Coming in at the number 5 spot is one of my personal favorites, Shockwave. Shockwave is a Schwarzkopf manufactured coaster coming out in 1978. This thing came out in 1978, and it still slaps even now. It's got a chain lift hill with a total height of 116 feet with a 105 foot drop, reaching 5.9 Gs after the first drop. Reaching top speeds of 60 miles per hour with 3,600 feet of track. This ride is a complete and absolute masterpiece. The fact that this thing came out in the late 70s, and here it is 2021, and we can still ride this thing and have fun, it's just beyond amazing. For those of you who are new to lap bars and inversions, this thing is definitely not anything to really too worried about because the positive G's here during those loops, the gravity you get from it, man, it just keeps you in your seat, and it's so great. Some people, like some of the newer riders, can kind of gray out on the double loops, but you get loads and loads of airtime in the back. So every time I ride this thing, I always wait in line a little bit longer because I want to sit there and I want to get a backseat ride. I will let 2 trains go through just so I can get a backseat ride because the ejector airtime on this ride is so significant that it is definitely worth waiting for. So if you make a trip to Six Flags Over Texas, must ride. Coming in at the number 4 spot is my personal favorite. My favorite ride at Six Flags Over Texas right here, baby. It is Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. This thing is insane. It's manufactured by Premier. It's a shuttle coaster going 0 to 70 in 3.8 seconds using the LIM boost launch system, reaching a top height of 218 feet. That's at the vertical spike, with a drop from the vertical spike of 194 feet, reaching top speeds of 70 miles per hour, reaching up to 4 Gs. Let's talk about this ride, shall we? This ride it's got everything. It's got the switch track launch system, which is just really, really dope. And let's not talk about you take the course twice, first backwards and then forwards. This thing, it's a short ride. It's a closed circuit ride, and the ride duration is probably about 45 seconds long. But the ride duration isn't what really it doesn't really matter, because yeah, it's a short ride and you wish it was longer, but the intensity that you get from the ride makes up for the duration. Um, I've heard people talk about, man, I just wish Mr. Freeze was longer. It's so much fun. But I've never heard people complain about the ride sucking, because it never sucks. It sometimes the ride will break down, but it's nothing like too crazy. It's never anything crazy. The ride's never down for an extended period of time. If it goes down, they do everything they can to try to get that something running, because they know that's how we want it. That's a very popular ride because people will wait for hours and hours to get on this ride. For a 45-second ride, people will wait 2.5, 3 hours in the queue line just to ride for 45 seconds. That should tell you right there just how awesome this ride is. I've ridden this thing like 9, 10 times in a row. Not missing a beat. I love this ride. It's amazing. So if you definitely go to Six Flags Over Texas and you're looking for a good thrill, you're looking for to have some really good fun, you definitely check out this ride. Coming in at the number 3 spot is Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster. Was the first of its kind. Debuted at Six Flags Fiesta Texas in 2018. Manufactured by none other than the infamous Rocky Mountain Construction. It's a Raptor track with 8 riders per car. This ride is unique when it comes to its cars, because there's 1 rider per car, 8 in a row. It's nearly not that tall. It's 113 feet with a 100-foot drop, reaching top speeds of 58 miles per hour with a 90-degree first drop. Now, if you're saying, well, on paper, it really doesn't seem like that much. It really doesn't seem like all that. Let me explain why Wonder Woman is number 3 on this spot. It's because of the pacing of the ride. The pacing of this ride is incredible. Like, it goes up the lift hill and it's pretty lame. It's just a normal lift hill. And then after you hit the top, you just get this burst of speed, and then you take the first drop and you're just flying. And I mean, this is a very aggressive ride. This is not like Shockwave or anything like that. This ride is aggressive. It turns through the elements so fast. The inversions are popping. The airtime is ridiculous in the back. I might want to remind you that the restraints on this ride really, really are uncomfortable. They're the over-the-chest restraints, but they're not like B&Ms. They kind of like really, really thick seat belts, more or less, and they're really hard, and they can do a number on your shoulder if you ride it enough, like me. I would sacrifice a little bit of pain for some airtime in a heartbeat. So I ride this thing in the back. I rode it in the front, but I seem to really enjoy it the most in the back, even though the restraints are as constricting as they are. I find out that the amount of airtime that you get going over these hills is just completely worth it. Coming in at the number 2 spot is the new Texas Giant, which is located at Six Flags Over Texas. The very first original RMC, which debuted in 2011. It's a total height of 153 feet tall with a 147 feet drop with a 79-degree first drop. Ride duration's about 2 minutes long and reaching up to top speeds of 65 miles per hour. This ride has a lot. It has just about everything. There are some pacing issues with this ride. Towards the end of the ride, you get a pretty intense ride towards the beginning part of the ride, and then you get like 2 airtime hills. You do a left overbank turn after a mid-course break, which gives you a good pop of ejector there, and then you get another airtime hill which goes towards the queue line, and then you make a right turn, and that's where the pacing issues, I believe, come in, is when you go into the tunnels. That's the only downside to this ride, is the pacing issues towards the end of the ride. Everything else with the ride, with the overbank turns and the airtime and the amount of how fun the first drop is, this is a great ride. Like, I remember I've taken like countless people on this ride that have never ridden it, and it's always great to see their reaction on this thing. It never gets old. They'll be really scared to ride it, and then once they start riding it, and they start having lots and lots of fun. And it just goes to show you that if my 11-year-old baby sister can ride this thing and have lots of fun, then anybody on the planet can ride this thing and have lots of fun. This is one of the best rides in the park, by far. This one and Freeze are definitely the top two. This one, Freeze, Shockwave, and then Titan. But this one here is, it's great. Like, it's a masterpiece, bro. It's completely out there. The speed's there. The pacing at the beginning of the ride is good, but it's the pacing at the end of it is the only downside. So go to Over Texas and definitely make a mean to stand in line for this thing. The queue lines can get a bit long on this thing. I'm just going to tell you that now. If you have a skip the line or a flash pass, I would definitely recommend getting one of these, because the wait times on this thing can vary from anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. I've seen it like at the entrance of the ride. I've seen the line start there. So just keep that in mind when you're going to get ready to ride this thing. We finally did it. We're at the number one spot. The number one spot is Iron Rattler. Iron Rattler is located at Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio, Texas, with a total height of 179 feet with a 171 foot drop with one inversion. It is a wooden coaster with an inversion. That's pretty dope. Manufactured by none other than Rocky Mountain Construction. This ride is, oh my god, where did I even start with this thing? The duration of the ride is where I feel like the only thing that I had to say, and maybe some pacing issues when you get on the Corey wall. But this first drop is by far the best drop in Texas, easily. It's not a 90-degree drop like Wonder Woman is, but the drop is unique in its own kind. It kind of makes like a twisting drop, and a part of you feels like you're going to kind of hit the awning that's right underneath you. But that's what makes the ride unique. When the ride first launched, when you got to the top of the lift hill, it kind of just meandered there and slowly creeped over the lift hill for a little bit, but they quit doing that. I kind of wish they had kept that in there, because it kind of added a little bit of suspense to the drop. But the airtime here, you get a lot of airtime. Ride this in the back. Okay, no exceptions. None at all. If you want to have the most fun ever on this thing, ride it in the back. I'm telling you now. You can ride it in the front and you can still have fun and you'll still have a good ride. But if you're like me and you're all about that airtime, ride it in the back. You're going to get a load of airtime off the first drop. You're going to get some airtime off of the hill before you get the 0G roll. When you come off the 0G roll, you're going to get another bout of ejector airtime. When you're doing the little snake back and forth on the top of the Corey wall, that's where the pacing issues come in, because it's really not a lot going on. But then you'll get the greatest airtime moment in the state of Texas by far, is when you take the drop off the Corey wall and you literally, the only thing that you see is the water underneath you, and you feel like you're literally going to fly out of your seat and go face first into the water. That is how great that drop is. And then it goes into the tunnel and hits the brakes. This is by far the greatest the greatest RMC that I've had the pleasure of riding, and it is definitely the most fun. It's not surprising that the 3 RMCs in the state of Texas ended up in the top 3. It's great. I have binge rode this thing like 26 times in one day when we were doing the 50 ride challenge at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This thing is incredible. My favorite ride, and every time we do an event at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, we always want to get ERT time on this thing, because it's just incredible. It's so much fun, especially in the back seat. Well, man, that's going to do it for this one. Like always, man, thank you guys so much for watching. What are you guys' favorite roller coasters in Texas, or just roller coasters in general? Let me know what they are in the comments. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button, as it helps grow the channel a ton. If you guys had some roller coasters that you thought should be on the list that really weren't on the list, let me know in the comments. Maybe we can do a video with those roller coasters as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.